Welcome to another day in the place of...
Hey everybody, long time no see. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. Today I have a bit of a wild video for y'all. So I kind of failed. I want to say maybe like a month ago, I put myself in a bit of a book buying ban. As you can see, my partner and I are avid readers, and one of our hobbies is definitely buying books. We love to go to used bookstores, independent bookstores, and obviously Barnes and Noble, but we are going to just jump right in. And I do want to clarify really fast. I know we've already been rambling so long. There are a lot of books here. Not all of these books are books that we purchased. So with that being said, let's get on into it. First book I have to show you is a library book, and of course it is none other than the infamous Spanish Love Deception. Now, I want to say one thing about me is when I go to purchase or check out or whatever books, I very rarely read the back. I mostly just go into books blind, and there's about 3 criteria in which I will pick up a book. Number 1 is that the cover of it looks aesthetically pleasing. Let's be honest, I'm gonna just come out and say it. Yes, I do judge books by their cover. Not people, just books, okay? The second criteria is that it may be a really popular book that I just sort of see everyone on Book Talk or BookTube talking about, or Bookstagram, and I get a little bit of FOMO and I want to read it myself, formulate my own opinion on that particular piece of literature. And the third criteria, I would say, is that for some reason the book just calls to me. I don't know how else to explain that. It may not have anything to do with the cover. It may just have to do with like the premise, like the title, or something about it that just rubs that little sweet spot for me, just intrigues me, draws me in. And like I said, I don't typically read the backs of books. I just sort of like get a vibe and then leave with the book, whether that be purchasing or checking. I don't mean stealing, guys. Don't do that. But and then I purchase or check out the book. So, Spanish Love Deception. Elena Armas. I gotta say, girl, listen, I have a 3 strikes and you're out policy. So, am I never gonna read another Elena Armas book? Probably not. I'll probably give her another chance. But this book, y'all, this is a controversial book. You either love this book or you absolutely hate it. And if this is like your favorite book, your favorite romance, whatever, I need to know why. I really do, because I DNF'd this book at 20%, and I hear you. I know that a lot of you guys are rolling your eyes and you're gonna say, well, how can you say that you don't like it if you didn't even finish the book, blah blah blah. That is extremely uncommon for me. It is very rare that I DNF a book, because if I get the vibe that, like the sense that I don't like it, I typically want to finish it just so that I can feel justified in my opinion that I don't like it, because I know a lot of the times the first thing people will say, well, did you finish it? Did you finish reading it? This is a very rare exception. Like I said, I DNF'd this at like 20%. I don't know what it was. Guys, I get that people are saying like Aaron Blackburn is their, book boyfriend. Why? Like, I don't know. I don't get it. It's not for me. And listen, like I said, Elena, girl, this book was not my favorite. I know she has another book out called The American Roommate Experiment. Don't quote me on that. I think that's what it's called. But I think I actually saw that today at Barnes and Noble. I will probably check that one out at some point. Again, that's probably gonna have to be a library book for me, because I don't know that I want to spend money on it and gamble like that, because this one was not it for me. But Elena, you're not out of the game yet. We'll see. The next book that I have to show you is The Dead Romantics. I've been seeing this book everywhere. The next one that we have is Love and Other Disasters, not to be confused with Love and Other Natural Disasters, because I've heard very mixed opinions on that one. But I don't know, something about the the cover. This was definitely one of those situations where the cover got me. And I think this is, and I want to say this is an LGBT romance. This next one, y'all, I'm very, very, very intrigued and excited to read. This is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. The next one, we have The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. This book is another library book, obviously, and I think this is like it's either like a thriller or a mystery, maybe it's both, not sure. But I have been in a bit of a thriller slash mystery slash paranormal horror mood, obviously, because it's getting real close to October, so that is why I checked that one out. And I've never read anything by Lucy Foley before, so I'm pretty excited to check this one out. I know this is another one of those pretty like divisive, controversial books where I'm pretty sure a lot of people have mixed opinions on that one, but couldn't tell you what those opinions were, to be honest, because I know nothing about the book. So, all right, the next one we have, this one's a good one. This is Speak. This is definitely an older book. I've read this before, and I am planning on doing a video about books that I've read before where I go back and reread them. This one I want to say I read when I was like a freshman in high school, and I do remember what the book is about. Definitely check the trigger warnings for that one. I want to reread it and see if the opinion I had as a freshman in high school still stands. And this one is actually another one. It's not a library book, but it is one that I did not purchase. Our apartment complex downstairs actually has a little book exchange. There's usually like 5 to 10 books in there. Not bad, but not great either. But I saw this one in there one day and I had to snag it. And don't worry, yes, I did leave a book for somebody else to take in exchange. So hopefully, well, actually, no, I know that somebody took the books that I left down there, because I check like upwards of like 3 to 5 times a week just to see what's new. This one is one that I purchased, and I know you could probably see a sneak peek of it. This is Layla by Colleen Hoover. Listen, Colleen, I think at this point we all know, Colleen just has us all in a freaking chokehold. I don't know what it is about her books, but she lines these pages with like a crack. I don't know. I haven't read this one. I don't know what it's about. I'm pretty sure it's like a mystery thriller, similar to like Verity, not necessarily similar in plot, but similar in like vibes. I don't know. I think, is this the one that's also like paranormal-ish? Or was that Verity? Because I read Verity, and I know it's one of these two where people said, oh, it's like also paranormal. And I feel like it has to be this one because I don't really remember anything paranormal about Verity. Verity was not my favorite Colleen book, but to be fair, I've only read like 3 of her books, I think, so far. And I'm just trying to get through her whole catalog at this point. So next I have The Maidens. And I'm so sorry, Alex, because I don't know how to say his last name, but this is the author who also wrote The Silent Patient. And The Silent Patient is a book that I've also read, and that's sort of why I picked this one up, just because I was curious to read some of his other work. And The Silent Patient was not my favorite. I'm very curious to see if I'll like this book better. And I think they mentioned Theo, like, I think it's in passing or something in this book. So I'm just sort of curious to see how his whole, like, universe ties together. But we'll see. The next book. This one is another one that I'm pretty sure I got the recommendation from Jack Edwards. This is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. And I believe this is about 2 sisters, question mark. They might be twins, and one lives her life identifying like as a black woman, and the other one identifies as a white woman, I'm pretty sure is like the concept of this book. And I just thought that was a fascinating premise. So to be honest, that's really the main reason why I picked it up. And also, like, can we just take a second to appreciate this cover? Like, that's a freaking gorgeous cover. Anyways, continuing on. The next book. So, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, the Spanish Love Deception, she put me in a little bit of a book slump. And so my thought process was, in middle school, I used to love reading manga. And so my thought process was, well, why don't I pick up a couple of graphic novels slash manga to sort of keep up with reading, but something that's low pressure, low maintenance in a sense, you know, versus like reading tons of words on a page. So that is why I picked up Spy X Family. I know this is a really popular series, and I don't know what it's about. If I had to guess, and if I could pull from memory, he's like undercover as a spy or something, and then he has to sort of like find these people to pretend to be his family. So I think that's what this is about. It's a pretty interesting premise, and these things, most mangas are pretty tiny, so I feel like I could get through this in one sitting. I'm very excited to read that. And then in that same vein, next two books we have are Heartstopper Volume 1 and Heartstopper Volume 2. We bought Heartstopper Volume 1 for the same reason, just because we wanted something low maintenance, and also obviously Heartstopper is a super popular series. I know the show just came out on Netflix. My partner got through this in one sitting, and then we went out and bought the second volume also because my partner was like, I need it. It's a need, not a want, you know? Anyway, so that is why we have 1 and 2. Currently on the hunt for Volume 3. Our Barnes & Noble had 1, 2, and 4, not Volume 3. So the next 2 books I also want to say are a little bit justifiable. I mean, we still paid, or I should say I still paid for them, but that is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. This is a bit of a thriller, mystery, little sprinkle of some paranormal in there as well. I loved this book. I feel like this is not going to be everyone's cup of tea because there are so many freaking plot twists that you might break your neck. But I loved it. I think I gave this, I want to say like 3.5 stars. It might have even been higher than that. Don't quote me. I'll have to check my Goodreads. No, not Goodreads. Storygraph. Sorry. And then the reason I said that was sort of justifiable is this was actually one of my book of the month picks. So the next one is also a book of the month pick, and this is my pick for September. This is The Fortunes of Jaded Women, and I believe this is a debut. I think it's about a family who has some sort of curse on them, and yes, okay, so it says, yeah, Vietnamese witch cursed this character and then all of her like descendants, and yeah, I was like, okay, sure, sign me up. Like, the cover was beautiful, so of course. The next one is a library book. That is The Lost Ticket. I'm gonna be honest, I knew this was a newer release and the cover was gorgeous. I want to say this is about an older gentleman who like loses his train ticket, and all the people on the train come together to sort of like help him find his ticket, or maybe his stop. I'm not sure. One of the I think that's what this is about. I don't quite remember. Like, I think that's what I've heard through like word of mouth. I feel like everybody is talking about this book. It is Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and I don't know what this book is about. Like, literally, I have no clue what this book is about at all. No inkling. I just know that everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about Emily Henry. I think I want to say I own People We Meet on Vacation, and it is on this TBR trolley right here. I haven't read it. Truly, I don't even know what that one's about. I just know that everyone's talking about Emily Henry, and I had FOMO, and that's why I checked it out. The next one is another library book, and that is Breasts and Eggs, and this is by Miko Kawakami. But I'm very interested to read any piece of work by this author. I've never read their work before, but this one seemed really intriguing. And with that being said, Heaven by Miko Kawakami. So this cover, dude, this cover got me. Next one is a purchase, and that is On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. And again, this is another translated piece of work, and it just sounded very, very interesting to me. And yeah, so very excited to get into this one. And also just this cover, like, okay, listen, I don't love these like little short cover things, but this cover to me, I don't know what it is about it, but it's pretty. I like it. Next piece of work that we have to read is The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. I want to say this is about a young girl who wishes that she had blue eyes, and she is obviously a young black girl, and she's sort of using this wish of blue eyes, Morrison, not the girl, to sort of symbolize, you know, that longing for just the ability to not be harassed for being a black girl. So as a black girl myself, obviously I can relate to this, and I am very excited to pick this up and get into it, especially because she describes the title character as being someone with dark skin, curly hair, brown eyes. Now listen, I don't have the darkest skin in the world, I'm well aware of that, but I do have curly hair, brown eyes, and I am black. So a little embarrassed that I haven't read that one yet. I have read some other pieces by Morrison, but this one is just not one that I've picked up yet, and now I have it, and I'm excited to dive into it. So next book we have is Gallant by V.E. Schwab. We do own a couple of books by this author. Maybe it's only one. I think we have a couple of books by her. And I think this is one of her newer releases. Again, no clue what it's about. All right, I was too lazy to dig all of these out, so I'm just going to hold this one up, but know that this is representative of the entire series, because yes, we did buy the entire series, and no, I have not read them before. This is the City of Bones series by Cassandra Clare. I have a confession to make. I never read Twilight, never read The Hunger Games, never read any of those books that were like super popular back in like the early 2010s-ish. Never watched the movies either. I swear to you, it wasn't until like maybe 2 years ago the most that I finally watched the Twilight movies. And back then, I was a Divergent girly through and through. Read all the books. We don't talk about the last one, disgusting. But yeah, I never read like The Hunger Games or Twilight or any of that stuff, and I kind of feel like I missed out on that part of time. I don't know. So this, I feel like I remember being popular in that era also, so that's why I was really excited to get these, because, you know, I may not have been part of that time period, but at least I can be a part of their sort of resurgence. So yeah. The next book that I have is a little bit of a horrifying cover. This is called Nothing But Blackened Teeth, and truly the main reason that I got this, I'm not even gonna lie, if you go to Barnes & Noble a lot, you know that occasionally they have like these books that they offer for $5 whenever you spend like, I don't know, what is it, like $5 or something in the cafe. So this was the pick of the month because obviously it's a spooky book. I think this is like just a little short horror story. The next book that I have, originally I checked this book out, except that I got so into this book, and then I didn't get to finish it before we came back to San Francisco. So what did I do? I went on eBay and I ordered this book because I was like, I need it and I have to finish it. So now I own it, and I'm going to finish it because it's like, it was really good when I was reading it, in my opinion. I don't know, I really liked it. The next book that I have to show you is Wilder Girls. I want to say there's like some sapphic stuff going on in there. And listen, if it's sapphic, I'm there. Speaking of sapphic, the next book that I got is Adachi and Shimamura. I think that's how you say that. This is the story of two high school girls, and I think it's basically just the story of how they slowly like fall in love. The next one is Love in the Time of Serial Killers, and if this cover wasn't gonna get me, that title certainly was. Because if there is one thing that I love, it is true crime. Not serial killers. They have done a lot of questionable stuff, and I don't think we need to be romanticizing that. But I am a big true crime girly, and this book sounded extremely intriguing, and also just that freaking cover. Like, does this not give you Valentine's Day vibes? The next book that I have to show y'all is Delilah Green Doesn't Care. This is one that got me because it's Women Love Women, obviously, and I love the name Delilah. Is that a frivolous reason for picking up a book? Yes, but then, like, the color, purple is one of my favorite colors, purple and blue, and like, just look at the cover. Like, that's such a badass cover. I'm sorry, it is. And the back is even adorable, like with those little flowers and stuff. Like, hello, are we not going to talk about that? Anyways, so this checked a lot of boxes for me. It's queer, it's purple, it has an adorable cover. I like the name of one of the characters, and maybe those are some silly reasons to pick up a book. Next one we have is The Girl from the Sea, and I think this is another graphic novel, yes. And then, not sure what this one is about necessarily, but it is another Women Love Women story, so obviously that's all you gotta say, and I'm sold. Okay, I know what I said earlier about my big book fear, and that wasn't a lie. That was 100% true, and I just need y'all to hear me out, because I feel like if I'm gonna get comments about any one of these books, it's gonna be this one. This next one is another Hanya Yanagihara book, and it is the Polarizing A Little Life. Did I go to Barnes & Noble specifically, exclusively for this one book? Yes, I did. And I will have you know that y'all should have been proud of me, because that one day when I went to go get this is literally the only book that I bought. And I think that's a win. But anyways, I know that this is an extremely heavy, triggering book. I don't recommend anyone read this book, simply for the fact that there's a lot of really dark, heavy content in this book. And am I gonna read this? Yeah, more than likely I am. But I'm gonna be straight up real with you guys. I went out and bought this because I don't know why, but when I bought this, I was just going through something, and I was like, yeah, I'm in a good enough headspace to read this, and I think that I can handle it. And then the next day, I woke up and I realized, why did you do that? And I do know about the content warnings. I know what a lot of the stuff that's discussed in this book. Like, I don't necessarily know the plot or what happens to these characters. I can guess basically what a lot of the stuff is going to revolve around, like, based on the trigger warnings. And I just think, do I regret buying this? No. But I do think that this is not one that you're going to see me read anytime soon on my channel. Don't regret, like I said, I don't regret buying it. I am excited to read it someday. But emphasis on someday, because it's not today. The next book that I have to show you guys is the one that I've been meaning to pick up. You guys, I swear to God, I keep saying this to myself like every single day. I'm like, I'm gonna read this, I'm gonna read this, I'm gonna read this, I'm gonna read this, and then I never do. I always end up picking up something else. But I want to read this, but I feel like the reason I keep not picking it up is because I loved before the coffee gets cold so much that I kind of am scared that this one is not going to live up to it. All right. Okay, so I can already hear a lot of the girlies screaming, like cheering. They're like, yes, girl, read this. And that is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. So I have not read any of the ACOTAR series. Obviously, that's why we purchased the first book, because I have serious FOMO about this book. I feel like everybody and their mother has read this entire series, not just the first book, and love it. So I'm very intrigued and curious about that series, and also just about Sarah J. Maas in general, because I'm pretty sure she has another series. So yeah, I'm very excited to get into that one, and I hope that I love it just as much as everyone else. And before you leave a comment telling me that the first book is not everyone's favorite, blah blah blah, yeah, I already know. I'm not expecting to like give the first book 5 stars, to be honest with you, but if I like it enough, then I'll continue on with the series, and I do anticipate that I will be carrying on with that series just because everybody talks about it. Like, I feel like it's one of the most popular series since like freaking Twilight. Like, I haven't heard people talking and hyping up a series like this since Twilight, in my opinion, at least that I can remember. So yeah, I anticipate that I will read that entire series. The next book that I have is a book by Miss Christina Lauren, and it is The Unhoneymooners. I also own Love in Other Words, but again, she lives here on the infamous TBR trolley. I just picked it up because it's popular. Don't shame me. Next book that we've got is another one by Miss Colleen Hoover. This is November 9. I am a little intimidated to read this one, mainly because I know that it's pretty divisive. A lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it. And I don't know. I get the sense from it that it's not going to be one that I love, but I could always be wrong, and I'm hoping that I'm wrong. This is a hardback, but it actually is, if you open it up, it's a graphic novel. This is Mouse, and this is by Art Spiegelman, and this is, I want to say it's like a little bit of a true story, I believe, because I think this is about his father, or maybe it was his grandfather. I think it's his father. And this is about, clearly, if you couldn't tell from the cover, this is about World War II and the Holocaust. And yeah, I know that the cats are meant to symbolize the Germans, the mice are meant to symbolize, you know, the Jewish people who were enslaved during the Holocaust, and I think Americans are represented by like dogs, if I'm not mistaken. Been a little bit of a rough journey with this book. We actually bought this book in the paperback version, only to get home and then realize that we bought it in Spanish. And while I more than likely would have been able to read that, my partner is learning Spanish, but I don't know that their Spanish is necessarily up for the challenge of reading an entire graphic novel in another language. Last but certainly not least, this is another queer story, and this is Honey and Issue's Guide to Fake Dating. Now, again, queer story, I'm in. But the thing about this one too is my partner said this has been on their TBR for a really long time, and first of all, the cover's gorgeous, and second of all, fake dating is one of my favorite romance tropes. Like, I'm down, I'm game, are you? I don't know, yes. I'm excited. I anticipate that will be probably a 5-star read from me, so we'll have to see if it lives up to that expectation. But that is all I have for you guys today. That was a lot of books, and as far as my book buying ban goes, I think it's pretty safe to say that we did not do a very good job. But am I mad about it? Yes and no. Do we have anywhere to put all the ones that we actually purchased? Not really. But I mean, the thing is that they're going to get read at one point or another, and they're just ones that we would have ended up buying in the long run anyways, so like, oh well. And yeah, I think that's really all that I have to say. Like I said in the beginning, I hope that my failure at least brings you some entertainment. And if you've also failed a book buying ban, just know that you are not alone, and hopefully you didn't go as overboard as I did. That's really all I can say on that. But thank you so much for watching. I don't know why I talk so much. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And then also make sure that you guys hit that bell notification so that you guys are notified every single time that I post a new video. Hasn't been too often these days, but I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. And let me know if you guys liked this video. And with that being said, I love you guys, and I hope that you guys have a great week. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, bye.